paper, the movie X is absolutely nothing special. Its plot is very simple, but still, this is one of the best classic slasher horror movies out there and is a really good movie in general. Why? Because this movie shows that super original plot is not essential to make a good movie. In my opinion, there are no original plots out there anymore. Everything has been done in one or another way. X stands out between other horror movies because of the way how it's done. It has a great cinematography, attention to details, music and sound choices. You can feel that filmmakers did their best here, it's not just a cheap cash grab. Please be warned that this review spoils the movie. In this movie there are a little bit differing choice of characters than in average horror movies. Usually the group are some teens on vacation or family, but in this movie they were porn stars making a porn movie, and in my opinion that's kind of interesting. When they usually make these average characters, they try to make viewer relate to them. For example, with the family to the grown-ups, or with the teens to the teenage audience. But this movie has these more original characters, and I think it's a good thing. These characters felt more alive because they didn't try to make you like them. They were who they were. For example, the main girl sniffing cocaine all the time, the other porn star being just annoying blonde, and the Christian girl turning dirty in the process. No one of these characters stands out particularly, but they all have their own thoughts and vibe, which is good. The bad guys were even better. They were not just some crazy old couple, but one of the movie's disturbing aspects came from them just being themselves, not just because they were killing everybody. You see, the old lady were sex-crazed maniac, and that is very entertaining and disturbing to see, that she wants to have sex with everybody while filmmakers making her as ugly as possible. Also, she asks for sex to her husband all the time, who is also made creepy. This is the most original thing in this movie, because sex-obsessed elderly people are not a common occurrence in movies. Vibe is the aspect where this movie truly shines. It's happening in 1979, which honors the original time period for these kinds of movies. The clothing, cars and music are according to this time period. I always liked this kind of stuff, but if you don't like 70s vibe, then I guess this is not for you. The farm where the movie is taking place has a very authentic feeling to it, which is achieved by insect sounds and great cinematography. But this is not completely your typical slasher movie. We can't forget that it's an A24 horror movie. That means that X has these very artistic and interesting shots throughout the movie, which is great. I immediately recognize the opening scene where location is filmed from a distance through window. The exact same approach was in the A24's Green Knight movie, and I absolutely loved that movie. This immediately set me to enjoy this movie, and I did. The another great shot I remember was Alligator and movie's protagonist swimming through pond filmed from above. But there are many more great scenes which sets this movie apart from a typical slasher film. These scenes are so good that they made me feel tension, although the outcome was very predictable. I like that this movie also had the classical car crash with animals foreshadowing event, before the main horror took place. It was made well and set the mood for the rest of the movie. And yes, this movie also features a lot of sex scenes, some of them bordering porn shots, and that is completely in place considering that this is a movie about making porn. But X goes a little bit deeper than just showing nudity. It explores the idea of morality here by making the Christian girl wanting to participate in a porn movie. This is unacceptable to her boyfriend, who is completely fine by filming the porn, but the girl previously wasn't fine with that. Then he regrets involving her in the making of the porn movie. This is not a criticism, but I have to mention that for me this movie wasn't too scary. But if you haven't watched the movie, I have to warn you that the movie is gory and crazy stuff happens. It's just that I have seen many horror movies and this one is also not that realistic. These may be the reasons why X wasn't too scary for me. It was more cringe feeling evoking, and that is not a bad thing, but rather good, because this movie managed to get me excited by causing these weird feelings. That means that the movie did its job of entertainment perfectly. I also would like to comment once more how well they chose the music for this movie, especially the credits song. It may be an insignificant thing, but when you put this all together it sets this apart from other similar films. There is not that much to say about the story of this movie. It really is a classic horror movie where group unsuspecting thing splits up and gets killed one by one. But there is an interesting point to make about this. Although there is practically no story here, it doesn't matter because everything else is made so well. This is a movie you watch for great scenes and details, not for an overall plot. And it's great in my opinion. The pacing of this movie is also very good. All the crazy stuff doesn't kick in too fast. The movie has a pretty slow start, but in my opinion it's a good thing because it helps to set mood for the following events. Although the main story may be simple, the movie is not that simple by itself. If you pay attention to it, for example, it has this subplot where the main girl is the daughter of the tele-evangelist who is preaching on TV. If you don't watch carefully, you may even miss it. I feel like this is going to be a pretty memorable movie for me, because I hadn't seen a good simple horror movie for a long time. It really brings out the best traits of this genre. Not everything needs to be super smart to be enjoyable. I give this movie 9 out of 10. Thank you for watching.